I have not been this excited to talk about a movie in a very long time. I have been seeing some really shitty movies lately, and I know that I probably should have done a Superman review, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see that and Fantastic Four with my girlfriend in 2 weeks. So at the end of this month, I will be seeing that, and so I'll be doing that then. So I've been desperately waiting for just a new movie to come out in theaters, because the last movie that I saw was Megan 2.0, or maybe it was Elio, but like all of those movies just kind of blend together. Megan, Elio, Jurassic World Rebirth, they're all okay movies, and I haven't seen a movie in a while, a good long while, and I was not excited about watching this. My name is Elliot, and welcome to This and That Reviews, where I take movies and compare them to other movies. I have no. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing about This and That Reviews. I love comparing movies to other movies, and it works in a number of different ways. Now, I feel like the correct thing would have been to watch I Know What You Did Last Summer. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, and the I Still Know What You Did Last Summer series. But I didn't. I didn't watch any of it. I know of the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know it in clips. I know that Sarah Michelle Gellar was a homecoming or a prom queen. I know that Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt were in the movie. I was a Scream person, and I feel like this was an era with NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, and I was an NSYNC person, and so I knew of this movie in the same way I knew of Backstreet Boys, but I was all about Scream. Right? I was all about Scream. I've seen all of the Scream movies, and I knew of this movie. I know clips of this movie. I know that Sarah Michelle Gellar died in this movie. But I never went back and watched it. I don't have a reason for it. I just never did. And then when I tried to find it on streaming, it's on no streaming service, and I wasn't gonna pay some amount of money for it. Like if it was on a streaming service, I'd sign up for the streaming service and then like cancel it because I could also watch all these other movies. But like I just never did. And so the right thing to do would be to come at this from that angle, from seeing all these movies and then seeing this movie. But I'm coming at it from the other angle. And I feel like there is merit to coming at it from the other angle, in the sense that, I watch the John Campea show all the time, and he talks about this with Star Wars. That the original 4, 5, and 6, A New Hope, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, those are the best of the movies, right? Followed by nothing. I don't know. I was gonna say followed by the sequel trilogy. Followed by the prequels. I don't know. Like each of them are bad in their own separate ways. But like 4, 5, and 6 are, regarded as the best ones, right? But let's say you didn't see 4, 5, and 6, and you started with 1, 2, and 3 because you're like a kid, and that's the movie that came out. And, it just came out, and you're into movies right now, and all of a sudden episode 1 comes out, and you're like, this is a cool movie. Like, I like Star Wars. This is a cool universe. What are those other movies? And you get to see the other movies, but you have an appreciation for something that, people that see 4, 5, and 6 are like, what the fuck is this, right? Now, and maybe you can get it. Maybe once you get to 4, 5, and 6, you're like, wow, this is really good. Maybe those are kind of bad, but you'll still have nostalgia for them because now those are your 4, 5, and 6, and you don't have a distinction between, no, those are the bad ones, these are the good ones. You just have I like that, but I also like this. I kind of feel like that way about Batman and Robin. When Batman and Robin came out, it was at a time when Rotten Tomatoes didn't exist. The internet didn't really exist. The discourse of people liking or disliking movies didn't exist. So I just saw that as a kid, and I remember very specifically coming out of that movie and being like, I love this movie. It's so funny. Like, it's so fun and funny. Like, it's great. Like, I wasn't a movie critic. I didn't watch a lot of movies. I wasn't like, oh, I only watch elevated horror. You know, like I will only watch movies like Talk to Me and Hereditary, and, you know, all other movies are trash. You know, like, that wasn't me back then. That's not me now. But, like, that definitely wasn't me back then when I went to go watch Batman and Robin, and I love that movie. And this is all to set up the fact that I loved this movie. I thought it was fun. I thought it was great. I have zero nostalgia for the idea that this movie came out in 1997 and it has been 30 years. Has been 30 years? They keep saying that in the movie. It's like, it's been 30 years. I don't even know if it's been 30 years. I don't know. 97 to 2020. Yeah, I guess it's been 30 years. It's been 30 years since that movie came out. And I feel like you could watch that movie. You could have watched that in 1997, where that was like your gateway horror movie, in the same way that Scream was my gateway horror movie. But when I get to like Scream, whatever the last one that just came out, I was like, this isn't as good as the last, you know, Scream 1. They're, you know, like, these movies have just been going downhill ever since then. You know, like, I come at it from that angle. I felt the same way about Final Destination Bloodlines, and I was mad at that movie for not being smarter than I thought it should have been. But everybody loves that movie, especially people that have no nostalgia for, you know, Final Destination. But when I saw Final Destination, I've seen the whole entire series from beginning to end when they came out in theaters, so I have the nostalgia for it. I get it. What I'm saying is I get it. I get why a lot of people would dislike this movie. I understand why a lot of people would hate this movie. For the choices that it makes, for the reveals that it has, I get why people would hate this movie. This is what I do. I do spoilers I do spoilers, but not spoilers. I do spoilers without being spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything about this movie, just know that I loved it, and I think that people would dislike it. I think that if you have nostalgia for the old movies, if like you came out and you saw I Know What You Did Last Summer in theaters, and you saw I Still Know What You Did Last Summer in theaters, and you see this movie and, you know, like, oh, they're just bringing back the old characters, and you see this as, you see this as like a shitty cash grab, and, you know, like, oh, it's just nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, right? They're just trying to make a buck. You know, if that's you, don't watch this movie. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to hate this movie. Don't watch it. But if you can go into this movie, putting aside your nostalgia for the original movies, and I know that that's impossible. I know that that's impossible to do. I know that it's much easier to go at this movie if this was your first movie. And I know that because I loved Fast X. I said it. I loved Fast X. As a person who has only seen 8, 9, and 10, and Jobs&Haw, I loved 10. I loved 10 because I have zero nostalgia for the movie. I watched Fast 8 with an ex-girlfriend because she wanted to see it and I didn't want to see it. I would have never saw it. I watched Fast 9 because everybody was saying how shitty it was and I thought it was fun. And then Fast 10 came out, and it made me want to go back to the original and watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It made me want to go back and rewatch the movies because I thought it was such a fun movie. It was like such a fun like cast of characters. I wanted to know more about each of these characters that obviously it felt like the Avengers Endgame of the Fast and the Furious franchise. But if you have nostalgia for Fast and the Furious, and you miss when they were stealing DVDs, and you get to Fast X, where he has superpowers, where Dominic Toretto is an international super spy that basically has superpowers, and a supercar that has the ability to drive down a dam. Like, if you follow the trajectory that way, I could see how you could dislike Fast X. But by the time Fast X came out for me, I had already accepted that they can go to space with the car. And that's what this movie is for me. I accept that this is just a fun movie. I don't have nostalgia for these characters. I don't care who these characters are. It's just fun. And the fact that I had the ability to watch this movie with no knowledge of the previous movies, not really anyway, enjoy this movie and be excited to watch the original movies, to go back and now watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I think I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer was probably the bad one. And like maybe the series. The fact that it makes me want to go back and watch those two, I think that that's why this movie exists. It exists for people like me. This movie makes some choices, and I'm going to go into a spoiler without being a spoiler. And I'll say that, it would be like, again, if you don't want to know anything about this movie, as I make up a scenario for a different movie, just, I don't know, tune off. And if you don't care, I'm going to spoil this movie. It would be like if you found out that they decided to make a new Harry Potter, a sequel to Harry Potter, when everybody had basically forgotten about Harry Potter, and it's 20 years after, Harry Potter has been done, right? And now Harry Potter is evil, and Ron and Hermione have to stop Harry Potter. And, he's like an evil wizard, and he hates the fact that he had to be the chosen one, and that the burden of all of that just weighed on him. And he just hated that he was the person that had to save the world. And he couldn't just be a normal kid. And it was just he just wanted a normal childhood. And he didn't want to do all this crazy stuff. He didn't want to be the leader. So now he's evil, and he's killing muggles. He's killing wizards. And he's just fuck everybody. And Ron and Hermione realize, Dumbledore calls them back and I guess not Dumbledore. Spoilers for Harry Potter. I don't know. McGonagall? I don't know. Somebody that's still alive. Who's still alive? I haven't seen Harry Potter in a while. But somebody still alive, it calls back Ron and Hermione, and they're like, you were his best friends. And you need to stop him because he's out of control and he's killing everybody. And so the whole movie is just them training, and there's an end sequence where they have to do the double wand thing, and then Harry Potter is shooting at them, and they do the double wand thing, and it's a Rise of Skywalker thing where they're ah, and then Harry Potter's ah, right? And then they kill Harry Potter. And then there's a post-credit scene where Luna Lovegood comes in, and she's like, I know that, I know that this has been a trying time, and, that battle with Harry, it was crazy, but Voldemort is back. And then Ron and Hermione are we gotta stop him. Let's go. I know there's a lot of people that would hate that movie. I know that there's a lot of people that would be this is not my Harry Potter. Why would you make him evil? Harry Potter is not evil. He's very good. And, and I get that because I felt the same way about Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi. Luke Skywalker that doesn't want to do anything and just wants to hang out on a planet, right? He just wants to hang out on Octo and drink alien boob milk, right? I felt that way because I have nostalgia for 4, 5, and 6, right? And when they go to that, I'm just this isn't my Luke, right? People would be this isn't my Harry Potter. This isn't my Harry Potter that saved the world against Voldemort. Oh, and now you're going to tell me Luna Lovegood's now going to be the main character? This isn't my Harry Potter. I could see that. I could see why people would dislike that. I'm just saying that if that was my first movie, if I had no nostalgia, if I didn't see any of the Harry Potter movies, if that was my introduction to this, I'd be what the fuck happened to this kid? I need to see those other movies. Like, this was crazy. This was insane. Like an evil wizard that hates wizards. This is a crazy movie. What an insane movie. What an insane take. And that's how I felt at the end of this movie. I have no, it's not precious to me. Like the original movies are not my precious, right? Like, and so I was able to go into this movie just watching it for what it was, as opposed to what I hoped it would be. And because of that, it allowed me to literally just go into this movie clean and like with no preconceived notion of what I wanted from this movie. Because I honestly didn't think I would like this movie at all. I was actually very prepared to come out of this movie saying I don't gravitate toward teen slasher movies. In terms of everything else, the teen slasher aspect. I liked all the kills. For being I could have easily, if you told me that this movie was rated PG-13, I'd believe you. There's not very many like Terrifier type kills. Nothing is really insane. But I think all of the kills and all of the set pieces were very creative. Like this fisherman person that is, he wears like the rain slicker and he has a hook and he has other fisherman themed weapons. And he kills people in fisherman-themed ways. I thought that was very clever. I liked it. I thought that was really fun. But as a person who goes into these like slasher movies, not really liking a lot of them, I didn't like Clown in a Cornfield. I thought it was just a bad version of Hot Fuzz. But again, if I didn't see Hot Fuzz, and if this was my first introduction to that kind of twist ending, maybe I would have liked it more. But I think that a Hot Fuzz, because I know of Hot Fuzz, it just seems like a bad version of that movie. I think that like the dialogue is cheesy. There's really bad dialogue along with cheesy dialogue. Like you see it in the trailer, but like the girl is she's engaged. And her husband, her would-be husband, dies. And it cuts to the very next scene where she's crying in the police station with her friends. And she says, she's like, "Oh my God, does this make me a widow?" And her friend says, "Well, at least you're a hot widow." It has lines like that. There's a lot of that. However you felt about that joke, there's a lot of that in this movie. And it's teenagers. It's not known teenagers. It's I feel like there's a higher paid version of this movie, but they didn't want to pay a lot of all the hot name actors and actresses. Like the original movie was like Brandy, Ryan Phillippe, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt. This was the height of their power. If you casted this movie with that, this movie would be Sydney Sweeney, Tom Holland, Zendaya. It would be Jenna Ortega. Like that would be the cast of this movie. But they're like, we're not spending $500 million on this movie. They're like, we're not doing that. So they just got a bunch of like rando people. I'm just saying, if they made a sequel to this movie, I'd watch it. There's a post-credit scene to this movie. I'd watch that sequel. I was pumped. I was pumped for that sequel. I am pumped for that sequel. It's not getting a sequel. I'd be shocked if this movie got a sequel. It's getting terrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think it's going to make that much money, especially because Superman is out. I'm just saying, if they made a straight to Netflix sequel, I'd watch that sequel. If they made a straight to Tubi sequel, I'd watch that sequel. If they made a straight to YouTube Shorts, 1 through 50 YouTube Shorts sequel, I'd watch that sequel. I'm so pumped for this sequel. I haven't been this excited for a movie in a while. I liked it. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me crazy for wanting Darth Ray. Darth Ray, can I just say this really quick? Darth Ray is the most... I have a Funko Pop. Hang on. I have a lot of Funko Pops. I do not have a lot of Star Wars Funko Pops. Darth Rey is the biggest fucking missed opportunity of the prequel trilogy. Darth Rey should have been the villain of the prequel trilogy. The idea of that's probably how I came up with the Harry Potter thing. The idea of Rey being trained by the best in Last Jedi, being trained by Luke Skywalker, the idea of setting up that Kylo Ren is Han Solo's son, the idea that you're supposed to think that it's a traditional Star Wars movie, that Kylo Ren is the bad guy, Rey is the good person, is the good girl, is the good person, right? I guess I could have used Sith and Jedi. Kylo Ren is the Sith, Rey is the Jedi, like light and dark, right? The fact that you're supposed to think that for 2 movies, and then we knew that she was going to be a Palpatine, that they were going to somehow reveal that she was a Palpatine. Somehow, Rey is a Palpatine. That's basically how they just did it. Somehow, Rey is a Palpatine. And then when they showed the fucking trailer with Darth Rey, I was so pumped. I was so pumped for that sequel. I was so pumped for Rise of Skywalker. The idea that it was going to be focused on Darth Rey, that we have been following the wrong legacy, that Kylo Ren was going to switch sides, but Rey was also going to switch sides, that we were going to get Darth Rey, and then Kylo Ren was going to have a redemption and then get a blue lightsaber, and then Rey was going to finally make her lightsaber and it was going to be fucking red. The fucking cool, double-bladed, created lightsaber that, hinges out. It's the coolest lightsaber I've ever seen. The idea of that was so exciting to me. I loved that idea. And it's the biggest missed opportunity for the sequel trilogy. Thanks, I Know What You Did Last Summer.